From bear down to bow down. Looks like the Washington Huskies have a new head coach in Jedd Fisch. And if you watched my YouTube video on the Seattle on Tap, now remember all the videos are now here on Huskies on Tap. I said this would be the best hire for the Washington Huskies. I was excited about it after losing Kalen DeBoer, which, by the way, it's going to be hard to replace Kalen DeBoer. He's one of the top head coaches in the country. He's now in Alabama. It might not take long for him to be the best coach in the whole entire country. So now we get Jedd Fisch. And what do I think of a hire? I would say it's a solid A-plus type of hire. Because we're talking about a guy who helped lead Arizona, who's been a program not very good, probably a dumpster fire type of program, from going, I think, 1-11 his first year, 5-2 his second year, all the way to 10-3 this year. So he's a guy who's going to be able to compete. If you have the talent, he's able to coach the talent, and we've seen that through his journey and his insane resume. A couple of things. He has prior connections to Seattle. He coached under Pete Carroll. He was Pete Carroll's quarterback coach in Pete Carroll's first year in Seattle. So he has some connection to the city. He knows the city well. He's an elite recruiter from all that has been talked about from him. He's an elite recruiter, which is a really important thing because in college football, as you know, recruiting is huge. I mean, I don't know how huge it is today because of the transfer portal and the NIL, but I think if you have that combination of recruiting, NIL, transfer portal, ability to actually maneuver around it, you're going to win some football games. And he has an insane resume. He coached on 8 different NFL teams for a total of 14 years. So he does have that pro-style mentality. And I'm pretty happy about this hire. I mean, here's the thing. It was a absolute slap in the face to lose Kalen DeBoer the way we lost Kalen DeBoer. Not fun. Not a way you want to be treated as a Husky fan by any means. I mean, this week has been absolutely disastrous. But this is a consolation prize, someone that we can get behind, someone who I think could coach his team right away, someone who's going to bring some transfers over, which we'll get to in a second, that are going to help us stay relevant and competing next year in the Big Ten. So I want to give you my 3 facts and my 3 opinions about this hire. Number 1, this fact is negative. He only has 1 winning season under his belt. He coached UCLA as an intern head coach. He's coached 3 seasons at Arizona. And this year he had his first winning season, which of course you want your coach to have multiple winning seasons coming into a program like the University of Washington, like Kalen DeBoer did at Fresno State. But we're talking about a guy who didn't coach at Fresno State. He coached in the Pac-12. We're talking about winning games in the Pac-12. I think going 10-3 at Arizona is more impressive than going 11-2 at Fresno State like Kalen DeBoer did. I might not have his exact record there, what Kalen DeBoer did in his last year at Fresno State, but I think it's more impressive to go 10-3 in the Pac-12 than you even have 1 loss with Fresno State. So that's a plus. Like, I know it's only 1 winning season under his belt, but you got to look at it that way, in my opinion. He came only 16 points away from going undefeated this year. You remember how the Wildcats gave the Huskies fits. But let's go look at their schedule of games they lost. They lost to Mississippi State 31-24 in SEC school. There is no shame in your second game of the season in a program like Arizona losing to Mississippi State in the second game of the season. They lost to a Washington team, who we went to Arizona, to Tucson, and they gave us fits, 31-24. And they lost to USC the week after, and that's a win. The Huskies realized, like Husky fans, me especially, watched that game and realized, oh, I guess Arizona is not bad. They lost in overtime, if I am remembering correctly, 43-41. And then after that, they beat Wazoo by 38, Oregon State by 3, UCLA by 17, Colorado by 3. They destroyed Utah by 24, and they destroyed Arizona State. That's by 36 points. So the guy can coach, okay? Another fact, he's worked under some insane head coaches. Bill Belichick, Brian Billick, Jim Harbaugh, John Harbaugh, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Steve Spurrier. Now, I wrote Harbaugh and Shanahan, so I might be wrong which Harbaugh and what Shanahan those are. That could have been Mike Shanahan. But he's worked under some insane coaches, so he has the knowledge right here. When you work under coaches like that, you just by being in that presence, you get some knowledge. And if he turns out like any of these guys, amazing. Belichick, obviously the most decorated and great NFL coach of all time. Billick won a Super Bowl in Baltimore. Pete Carroll, I don't have to explain to you. Harbaugh, McVay, Shanahan, Spurrier, winners, 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 winners. Now let's give you my 3 opinions on him. The number one thing that I look forward to is Noah Fifita. I hope I'm pronouncing that right because I'm not a pronunciation expert. Could be coming. He could bring him in the transfer. Then all of a sudden we have an elite quarterback. If that doesn't work, maybe he can convince Will Rogers to come back and be like, hey, come back. I got you. Look what I did to Fifita last year. I expect him to follow and with him, and with that, bring McMillan, who is a clone of Mike Evans. So all of a sudden, you have that instead of Penix or Dunze, you got Fifita McMillan. Like, okay, cool, offense is set. I think this was the best hire out of anyone who is really available at the moment. There wasn't having this happen after the national championship game. There's not like millions of people available. We were talking about Leopold. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly too, from Kansas. We were talking about Pete Carroll, which would be a very short stint since he's at the age he's at. And I think that's really important to realize that we got literally who I think is the best hire out of the people available. And he's only 47 years old, which is huge. That means if he wanted to, there's always that fear that, he's a Florida guy, that if Florida's job opens up, he could go to Florida. That would be really, really bad if he left in a few years. But I don't want to think about that now. I want to think about the success that he's bringing now. And my last opinion is the program is going to be back competing right away. I don't think I can't predict that we're going to come back to the national championship next year. But I did put out a tweet right when the firing happened that 2026 or 27, I forget the year, Jedd Fisch versus Kalen DeBoer, UW versus Alabama national championship game, and we're going to go out and beat those motherfuckers. So let's go do it. Now, overall, I'm just pretty happy about this hire. I hope you enjoy the weekend, and go Dogs. All right? This is the Huskies on Tap, part of the Sports on Tap and Seattle on Tap network. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys next time.